The roar that would democratize automotive power echoed through Ford's Rouge River plant on March 31, 1932. Henry Ford himself was behind the wheel of the first production Ford V8, listening to the smooth rumble of 8 cylinders working in perfect harmony as the revolutionary Flathead V8 engine delivered more horsepower than most Americans had ever experienced in an affordable automobile. "Gentlemen, we've just put a racing engine in a family car," Ford announced to his engineering team as the Model 18 accelerated effortlessly down the test track. Every farmer, every working man, every family in America can now afford the kind of power that was once reserved for millionaires and racing drivers. The Ford Flathead V8 represented a manufacturing breakthrough that would reshape the entire automotive industry. For the first time in history, V8 power, smooth, reliable, and potent, was available to ordinary consumers at prices they could afford. What had been an exclusive luxury for the wealthy elite was about to become standard equipment for the American middle class. The engineering achievement was staggering. Ford had figured out how to mass-produce complex V8 engines at nearly the same cost as simple 4-cylinder motors, unleashing a horsepower revolution that would define American automotive culture for generations. If you love discovering the untold stories behind automotive history's most incredible innovations, please like this video and subscribe to the Car Chronicles. Early 1900s to 1920s. The power problem. In the early decades of automotive history, engine power was directly related to price and exclusivity. 4-cylinder engines were the standard for affordable cars, providing adequate but uninspiring performance for basic transportation. 6-cylinder engines offered more power but at significantly higher cost, limiting them to premium vehicles. V8 engines existed, but they were hand-built luxury items available only in the most expensive automobiles. Companies like Cadillac, Packard, and Pierce Arrow offered V8 power, but these engines cost more to manufacture than entire budget automobiles. A typical V8-powered luxury car in 1930 might cost $3,000, equivalent to over $45,000 today. V8 engines were essentially custom-built pieces of machinery, explained automotive historian David Lewis. Each one required skilled craftsmen, expensive materials, and time-intensive assembly processes. They were beautiful, powerful, and completely impractical for mass production. The manufacturing challenges were enormous. V8 engines required precise machining of complex cylinder blocks, intricate timing mechanisms, and sophisticated cooling systems. Traditional production methods couldn't achieve the precision necessary for reliable V8 operation at affordable prices. Henry Ford recognized that whoever could solve the V8 mass production problem would gain enormous competitive advantage. American consumers wanted more power, smoother operation, and better performance, but they couldn't afford the premium prices that V8 technology commanded. 1928 to 1930. Ford's engineering challenge. Henry Ford committed Ford Motor Company to developing an affordable V8 engine in 1928, setting his engineers an seemingly impossible task. Create a V8 engine that could be manufactured at 4-cylinder prices while delivering superior performance and reliability. The engineering challenges were staggering. Traditional V8 construction methods required separate cylinder blocks, complex cooling passages, and precision assembly that was incompatible with mass production techniques. Ford's engineers needed to completely reimagine V8 design and manufacturing. The breakthrough concept was the one-piece cylinder block casting. Instead of assembling V8 engines from multiple components, Ford would cast the entire cylinder block as a single unit, creating integral cooling passages, mounting points, and structural elements in one manufacturing operation. The one-piece casting was revolutionary thinking, recalled Ford engineer Charles Sorensen. Nobody had ever attempted to cast such a complex engine block in a single piece. Most experts said it was impossible with the metallurgy and casting techniques available in 1930. Ford invested heavily in new casting technologies, experimental foundry techniques, and precision machining equipment. The company built specialized facilities dedicated to V8 development and hired the best metallurgists and casting experts available. 1930 to 1932, the manufacturing breakthrough. The key breakthrough came when Ford's engineers developed new casting techniques that could produce reliable one-piece V8 blocks using relatively inexpensive materials and mass production methods. The Flathead V8 design placed valves in the engine block rather than in the cylinder head, simplifying construction and reducing manufacturing complexity. The Flathead configuration wasn't the most efficient V8 design from a performance perspective, but it was ideal for mass production. The flat cylinder heads were simple to manufacture. The valve-in-block design reduced parts count, and the overall engine could be assembled using existing Ford production techniques. Ford's metallurgy team developed new iron alloys that provided the strength necessary for one-piece casting while maintaining the machinability required for high-volume production. The casting process itself was refined through thousands of iterations until Ford could produce V8 blocks with consistent quality and dimensional accuracy. The Flathead V8 wasn't the most sophisticated engine design ever created, noted automotive engineer Charles Kettering. But it was brilliant manufacturing engineering that made V8 power accessible to ordinary people for the first time in automotive history. By early 1932, Ford was ready to begin mass production of the Flathead V8. The engine would initially be offered in the new Ford Model 18, priced competitively with six-cylinder automobiles from other manufacturers. March 31, 1932. The launch. Ford's introduction of the Flathead V8 created an immediate sensation in the automotive industry. The 221 cubic-inch engine produced 85 horsepower, significantly more than competing 4- and 6-cylinder engines, while selling for prices that middle-class families could afford. The Model 18 Ford with V8 power cost just $460, only slightly more expensive than 4-cylinder Ford models and hundreds of dollars less than 6-cylinder competitors. For the first time, ordinary consumers could purchase V8 smoothness, power, and performance without paying luxury car prices. Customer response was overwhelming. Ford dealers reported unprecedented interest from buyers who had never considered Ford products because they wanted more power than 4-cylinder engines provided. The V8 attracted customers from competitor brands who couldn't afford luxury V8 engines but wanted superior performance. The Ford V8 changed everything about customer expectations, recalled a contemporary Ford dealer. Suddenly, everyone wanted V8 power, and Ford was the only company that could deliver it at reasonable prices. The automotive press was initially skeptical, but became enthusiastic after testing. Popular mechanics declared the Ford V8 the most significant engine development since the electric starter, and praised Ford for making advanced technology accessible to average buyers. 1933 to 1940. Industry transformation. The success of Ford's Flathead V8 forced every major automaker to develop their own affordable V8 engines or risk losing market share to Ford. General Motors introduced the Chevrolet Stovebolt Inline-6 as an interim response, while Chrysler developed their own V8 designs for Plymouth and Dodge brands. The V8 revolution extended far beyond passenger cars. Hot rod enthusiasts discovered that Ford's affordable V8 engines were perfect for performance modifications, creating an entire subculture around V8-powered custom automobiles. The Flathead V8 became the foundation of American hot rod culture. Racing applications validated the engine's performance potential. Ford V8-powered race cars dominated oval track and drag racing competitions, proving that affordable engines could compete with expensive, hand-built racing motors. The Ford V8 democratized not just street performance, but racing performance as well, observed racing historian Brock Yates. Suddenly, ordinary mechanics and weekend racers had access to engines that could compete with factory race teams. The cultural impact was profound. V8 power became synonymous with American automotive identity, representing freedom, performance, and individual expression. The distinctive sound of V8 engines became the soundtrack of American car culture. The legacy and impact. The Ford Flathead V8 engine represents one of the most transformative innovations in automotive history. By making V8 power affordable and accessible, Ford changed not just what people drove, but how they thought about automotive performance and capability. The engineering achievement was remarkable. Ford had solved manufacturing problems that had stymied the entire automotive industry, creating production techniques that made complex engines as affordable as simple ones. The one-piece casting technology developed for the Flathead V8 influenced engine design for decades. From a social perspective, the affordable V8 engine democratized automotive performance in ways that had profound cultural consequences. Hot rod culture, drag racing, muscle cars, and American performance car tradition all trace their origins to the availability of affordable V8 power that began with Ford's 1932 breakthrough. The Flathead V8 also demonstrated how manufacturing innovation could be as important as design innovation. Ford's engineers proved that making something better was less important than making something good enough, affordable enough for mass adoption. Modern V8 engines are far more sophisticated than Ford's original Flathead design, incorporating overhead valves, fuel injection, computer controls, and advanced materials. However, the fundamental principle remains unchanged: 8 cylinders working together to provide smooth, powerful, reliable performance. The V8 configuration that Ford popularized in 1932 continues to define American automotive culture today. From pickup trucks to sports cars to luxury sedans, V8 engines remain symbols of power, capability, and automotive excellence nearly a century after Ford's original breakthrough. Contemporary discussions about electric vehicles and alternative powertrains sometimes overlook the historical significance of the V8 democratization that Ford achieved in 1932. Making advanced technology accessible to ordinary consumers remains one of the automotive industry's most important challenges and opportunities. The Ford Flathead V8 story reminds us that the greatest automotive innovations are often manufacturing breakthroughs rather than design breakthroughs. Creating something new is impressive, but creating something affordable enough for everyone to enjoy is transformative. Today, the distinctive rumble of V8 engines continues to excite automotive enthusiasts around the world, carrying forward the legacy of Henry Ford's 1932 decision to put racing engine power within reach of ordinary drivers who simply wanted more from their automobiles. If this story moved you, subscribe to the Car Chronicles and hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to know that the greatest automotive innovations often come from making advanced technology accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy few. What's your favorite V8 engine sound? Let us know in the comments how V8 power has influenced your automotive experiences and preferences.